In the heart of Africa, a story was waiting to be written. Our story. Deep within these primeval forests, the first chapter of human history quietly began. Our earliest ancestors, the Australopithecus, were taking their first tentative steps. A simple act of standing up revealed a new world of possibility and danger. In these footprints, we find the origin of our journey, the legacy of walking upright. They lived in small, cooperative groups, bound together by the needs of survival. The bonds of family, a fundamental instinct, were forged in this ancient world. But for these vulnerable pioneers, danger was a constant, lurking shadow. Survival depended on instinct, agility, and the safety of the trees. Beneath the silent stars, our ancestors dreamt, unaware of the destiny ahead. Night offered no true rest, only a temporary truce with a hostile world. The world was changing. The forests shrank, forcing our ancestors into the open. This new, exposed world demanded adaptation. It was a crucible of evolution. Resourcefulness was the key to survival in an increasingly arid land. A lucky find. But accessing this bounty required more than just brute strength. An idea was forming. The mind began to see a tool within a simple stone. A new mind was dawning. Homo habilis, the handyman, arrives on the scene. With a single strike, the hand of an ancestor unlocked the key to the future. Technology, in its simplest form, had given them a powerful new edge. Cooperation, enhanced by tools, allowed them to claim their place in the food chain. This new diet, rich in protein, would fuel an unprecedented evolutionary leap. The brain began to grow, powered by meat, tools, and ingenuity. They explored every part of their world, learning to adapt and overcome. The old ways were fading. A new, more resourceful human was taking over. And then a new figure appeared, taller, stronger, and destined to leave Africa. This was Homo erectus, the upright man, built to conquer the world. Their tools were not just functional, they were symmetrical, beautiful, a new mind at work. Organized hunting provided a reliable source of food, fueling their expansion. For the first time, a human species would venture beyond the cradle of Africa. They walked into new lands, new climates, and an unknown future. Each new world presented new challenges and new creatures to overcome. Nature would bestow a gift, a terrifying yet transformative power. The encounter with fire, a moment that would forever change our relationship with nature. The challenge was not to find fire, but to control it, to make it their own. Here, in the warmth of the first campfire, the seeds of community were sown. The darkness no longer held absolute power. They had conquered the night. Cooking food unlocked vital nutrients, making them stronger, smarter. The campfire became the heart of their society, a place for sharing and bonding. With fire, they could survive the harshest seasons and push into colder lands. Fire became a tool, hardening their weapons and improving their hunt. They became apex predators, capable of hunting the giants of the Ice Age. For the first time, they began to build homes, shaping the world to their needs. Life expectancy grew. Knowledge could now be passed down through generations. For over 1 million years, Homo erectus dominated the old world. But in the cold north, a new kind of human was evolving in isolation. The Neanderthals, masters of the Ice Age. With minds and tools of their own, they were powerful hunters, perfectly adapted to their harsh, frozen world. In their grief, we see the first hints of a spiritual life, a human soul. But their world was about to change forever. A new rival was coming. Back in Africa, a new species had been born. They were us, Homo sapiens. Behind these eyes, a new kind of consciousness was stirring. The creative mind. The great advantage of Homo sapiens was the power of complex language. The mind began to think in symbols, to create beauty for its own sake. Art is born, a revolution of the mind that would change everything. Armed with culture and creativity, Homo sapiens began their own great migration. They moved into a world that was already occupied by their distant cousins. Two kinds of humans meeting for the first time. The future was unwritten, so different, yet so alike, a reflection of another possible human destiny. For a time, it seems, they lived side by side, but coexistence was fragile. A global catastrophe plunged the world into a harsh volcanic winter. Humanity was pushed to the brink of extinction. Survival demanded innovation. The Neanderthals, specialists of the cold, struggled as their world changed. Sapiens responded with new technologies, smaller, faster, and more deadly. The atlatl gave them a decisive advantage, changing the nature of the hunt. Large social networks allowed sapiens to share knowledge and support each other. The Neanderthals, living in isolated groups, were at a great disadvantage. The power of story allowed sapiens to cooperate on an unprecedented scale. The human mind awakens, leaving its first immortal marks upon the world. In the deep dark of the earth, they created a parallel world of spirit and magic. The Neanderthals may have witnessed this new world, but could not replicate it. In the end, it was a battle for resources, and the innovators would win. Yet, they did not vanish completely. They left a faint echo within our own DNA. The last Neanderthals watched as a new world dawned, a world that was not for them. Their story ended, but a part of them lives on, hidden within us. Homo sapiens were now the last humans on Earth. The planet was theirs alone. With superior technology, they mastered the cold and conquered the continents. They thrived in the rich world of the late Ice Age, the kings of this planet. Their relationship with nature was complex, part hunter, part mystic. And then, the great ice began to melt. The world was about to be reborn, the lone inheritors of Earth. standing at the dawn of a new age, the Great Thaw. A new world, green and vibrant, emerges from the ice. An ancient era of ice, a force that shaped us, finally releases its grip. The giants of the Ice Age, who had sustained humanity for millennia, began to vanish. For the hunters, it was the end of a world. A way of life was disappearing forever. Survival, as always, demanded adaptation. We learned to hunt in this new, forested world. But in one fertile crescent of land, a far greater revolution was taking root. In a field of wild grain, a simple observation would change humanity forever. This was the first intentional act of farming, a pact made with the earth itself. For the first time, we controlled our food source, planting the seeds of our future. Hard labor transformed wild grass into a reliable source of sustenance. The first bred, we began to reshape the animal kingdom, turning wild beasts into docile partners. Domestication changed not only the animals, but ourselves, creating a new way of life. Our diet and our destiny was being fundamentally reshaped by this new revolution. But this new life came at a cost, written in the bones of the first farmers. Why wander when the food was here? The first permanent villages were born. Life in one place allowed for new skills to emerge: pottery, weaving, art. With permanent homes came the need for defense. The first great walls are raised. Spirituality took on new forms, moving from the cave to the heart of the home. The invention of pottery allowed us to store our surplus, to save for the future. Surplus grain was the birth of wealth, property, and a new social order. The idea of farming was too powerful to contain. It began to conquer the world. The march of agriculture was the march of deforestation, reshaping continents. And in Asia, a different grain, rice, would fuel the rise of new cultures. Across the globe, in the Americas, maize became the foundation of a new world. We were no longer just children of the earth. We were becoming its masters. In the deserts of Mesopotamia, between two rivers, the next act was set to begin. By controlling water, they turned the desert green and unlocked immense prosperity. Animal power, harnessed to the plow, created food surpluses on an unimaginable scale. The surplus of food gave rise to a new invention: the city. This was a new kind of human habitat, chaotic, crowded, and full of energy. To make sense of this new world, they built monuments to their gods. Organized religion provided structure and meaning in this complex urban world. But this complexity created a new problem: how to manage it all. To control this new reality, humanity needed a new tool: the written word. For the first time, human knowledge could exist outside of the human mind. The principle of the wheel would usher in an age of mechanical wonders. Applied to transport, the wheel shrunk the world, connecting cities and cultures. They looked to the heavens for order, and in doing so, created science. The mathematical legacy of these first cities still governs our measurement of time. New hierarchies of power emerged. The age of kings and rulers had begun. Society was now governed by laws, recorded for all to see. By combining metals, they created an alloy that would define an era. Bronze. The Bronze Age had arrived, bringing with it better tools and deadlier weapons. This new metal accelerated progress in every aspect of life. Along the Nile, another great civilization was writing its own unique story. From China to the Indus Valley, civilization was now a global phenomenon. The first global trade networks were forged, connecting the ancient world. But civilization also created new forms of brutality, such as human slavery, and the density of city life allowed new plagues to sweep through populations. The surplus and the city led inevitably to a new invention, the army. Civilization gave us new ways to live together and new, organized ways to die. War became a science, with new strategies for attack and defense. From the clash of cities, a new political structure was born. The empire. The grand monuments of civilization were built on the sweat and toil of thousands. This was the world we had made, brilliant and brutal, creative and cruel. Empires, like the people who build them, are mortal. They rise and they fall, but ideas, recorded on clay, can survive the wreckage of time. The ancient world is not dead. It is the foundation of everything we are. The power of the written word is civilization's most enduring legacy. Our technology has changed, but the fundamental task of the farmer remains. The ancient template of Uruk echoes in the steel and glass of our modern world. The ancient dream of a just and ordered society is one we still pursue. Our innate curiosity, once used to map the stars, now unravels the universe. Across millennia and cultures, the family remains the heart of the human experience. The ancient impulse to create, to make our mark, is a timeless human trait. But our capacity for conflict has grown with our technological power. The ancient problems of inequality and poverty still challenge our civilization. And our mastery of the earth now threatens the very health of our planet. From this distance, we see not nations or empires, but a single fragile home. Across millions of years, the face of humanity has changed, but the spirit remains. The entire story, our entire past, is encoded in every human child. Each generation takes the same first steps as our most distant ancestors. We continue to invent new tools to shape our world and our future. The same impulse that drove us out of Africa now drives us to the stars. We are still pioneers, still driven to explore the next frontier. Our story has been a long one, but it has played out on one tiny stage. In the grand cosmic scale, our story is almost too small to see. But to us, it is everything. It is the warmth of the fire, the bond of community. It is the timeless wonder of looking up at the night sky, a single spark of consciousness in an infinite universe. Our journey has just begun.